G'day, Stephen Carey from offthegridnoz.com again, doing a little bit of a video. Call this Steve's off the grid gardening video. I was going to play some, that twerpy music they put in the back of all the big gardening videos, but yeah, all we get's a little bit of background music if we're lucky here. Anyway, look, this is about these barrels. I'm going to show you a few bits and pieces that I actually use. There are many ways to do these things. Don't take it from me as being, gospel, but these seem to work the way they should. Very cheap to make, all real good, guys. I'm going to show you first off a few of the bits and pieces that are needed to do it. And before I do that, look at that. See that? YouTube. Internet playing on the indoor kitchen. Doesn't cost you $1,000,000. Cheap ass Wi-Fi TV. Your plants will love it. The garden is around the kitchen. The internet is within the kitchen. The music is available. But anyway, that's a side note. Right, back to what we need. Some of the things you need to do this stuff. You need a jigsaw. You got to cut the barrels. So a jigsaw, battery tools, because we're off grid, is to go, right? Good track. Good track. And you need a drill to drill a few holes. You need these bits and pieces here, which is a hammer, basic hammer, pair of side cutters to cut some wire, sharp knife to cut your shade cloth or whatever material you've got, bit of sealer to seal the bungs up on these barrels. These barrels come with 2 of those bungs in one end and they need to be sealed up when you cut them in half. You need a bit of Teflon perhaps if you prefer not to use silicone to seal the bungs. And those 2 drill bits, well, those 2 drill bits are required, and I'll show you what they're used for a little bit later on. You also need 2 meters of this plastic pipe, cheap as to buy. You buy from plumbing supplies, but hey, take it from me, I'm a plumber. Might go to Bunnings and get a few meters of it, might be a bit cheaper. You also need a couple of meters of that. You need a hacksaw and a ruler of one description or another. And over here, the components that make up these buckets, apart from the barrel themselves, little pissant piece of 25mm pipe, little piece of 32mm pipe, the 32mm, which is the bigger one, that one, it's the fill pipe, that one is the discharge or the overflow. You also need that little dinky piece of wire. You can use you can use wire. Most off-gridders have got a bit of wire kicking around, or you can use a cable tie, whatever you want. And an 800 by 800 piece of some sort of material. I use shade cloth because I've got plenty kicking around. That's the barrier between your base material, which is your wicking material, and your gardening material, which is the potting mix or whatever you put on top. Right, so there are just a few of the things you need to do this sort of job. Not real difficult, not real expensive. Most of you guys off grid will have this stuff kicking around. So moving around slowly, not trying to blur you. Stairway to heaven, come on, come on. And the new day will dawn for those who stand along. Do you love that or not? Anyway, I digress. Back to the barrel. The barrel, standard 200 litre barrel, plucky barrel. It's got just a blank end on one end. And you've got those 2 bungs that I said you need the silicone or something for. You got to wind those bungs out when you cut the barrel in half. And you've got to actually seal those up, alright, otherwise that half of the barrel won't seal properly. Around this side we've got a hole down there, which is a pilot hole and a line. I can't help getting involved in the track though. Led Zeppelin, beautiful. But yeah, I got a flexible thing there, which is a piece of the yellow tongue. It's actually green tongue. That helps you if you mark from the end of the barrel. These are 900 long, so I mark along the center of the barrel, put a line on it, drill that pilot hole that's there somewhere. There's a pilot hole there somewhere. Alright, can't find the pilot hole, get over it. But yeah, drill the pilot hole, it's there somewhere. Okay, we can't find the pilot hole, but you get the drift. Drill the pilot hole with that larger drill bit I showed you. Then you just run around it with that flexible piece of strip, mark the barrel, cut it with a jigsaw. Wear goggles, remember, safety first. You might be having a distilled water and you might be listening to Led Zeppelin, but you need to wear your goggles, alright? Split your barrel in half. Other things you need one of these things. Horticultural name, Barrow Incredibilis Bacchus Brachus, right, which comes with shovel, also from the Brachus Bacchus category. They're horticultural names for these things, right? We got a mix of mushroom compost, horse poo, vermiculite and clay. 30%, or basically 30% of it is the compost and the horse poo. Sorry, 60% is horse poo and compost. 30% is made up with a little bit of clay backup, bit of vermiculite. You can mix that up any way you want. No fixed rule to that. Down here we have another component required, at least in my barrels. Sand. That's the wicking material that goes down in a place I'm going to show you in a minute. You need some inert material that will not grow bacteria. You don't want your soil sitting in the water. And you also need little girly shovel. Sorry girls, don't pick on me. Remember, I'm big, bad and nasty. But no, I like to use a little shovel like that because you need to put this stuff in nice and neat. Oh, don't you love that? As she winds back down the road. Your garden too should have music. It's not really expensive to put that stuff outside, but I know I'm getting sidetracked. As she winds down the road. Yes. Shut up, Steve. Anyway, so we also need a few screenings in this process, alright? Screenings are what I'm going to show you in a minute. And now I'm going to high tech. Steve and Kerry's Offgrid and Oz.com high-tech camera work. Hand goes over the screen. Oh shit, look at that. Oh, I'm back. Look at that. That was like fast forward in a very cheap sort of a manner because we don't do really technical stuff. What we have here is a bare barrel. Has a 25mm hole drilled in the bottom, about 75mm up. 75mm because the pipe in the barrel next door, these barrels I prepared earlier in a microwave oven at 200. No, that was the cooking video. Sorry about that. Forget that. Wrong video. But yes, these barrels I prepared earlier. You drill a hole 75mm from the bottom, 25mm if you're using 25mm pipe. Remember, you can use irrigation pipe. You can use anything you want. It's just a hole to let the water out. And she's buying a stairway from. Yeah. Oh God, that track's good. Yeah. You probably. What a beautiful afternoon. Look at that. Oh. God, it's absolute pleasure. Sun's out, panning around. Yes, I know I've trashed the place. Hotel California, another good track. But yes, I digress again. Anyway, so you drill your hole in the bottom. Next barrel, we have a little piece of pipe there. It's got a little tiny piece of wire through it, just there, just to pin the fill pipe. All right. Now the fill pipe is in these barrels they're 450mm. So the fill pipe is a 500mm piece of pipe, goes to the bottom and it's cut on a taper. Alright, probably should show one of those, but never mind. It's cut on a taper at the bottom so it doesn't block up. The coil of that black pipe goes around the bottom any which way you want, as long as it's flat. That pipe actually becomes your reservoir, like I said. And moving next door to another one I prepared earlier in the microwave, we have one with some sand in the middle. What we have here, if we look closely and pull this back, we have some screenings. You can see the pipe. I put some screenings around the pipe to pin the bloody shit down because it's so unco. It doesn't sit there, or it doesn't want to sit there. So I spread some screenings right around, right up to the fill pipe around here. Cover the outlet of your overflow so it doesn't fill with material. Make sure your wicking bed barrier goes over the top of your exit pipe, your drain pipe. Then pop some sand in the middle, so the sand goes in the middle of the pipe from there, right? Real simple shit. Don't worry about all the unco bends and stuff. An 800mm piece of show cloth will tend to want to fold and carry on like a pork chop, but yeah, just ignore it. It's just bloody unco. That's why they call it part of the, doesn't do what it's told family, or some shit like that. I'm really not up on these botanical names, all this stuff. Anyway, right. So you've got the barrel, you drill a couple of holes in it, or the hole in the bottom. Little hole for the wire at the top, which is there. That's the only holes you got to drill. You pop the pipe in like that, just coil it around. You put a bit of shade cloth or whatever barrier you're using into the middle like that. Fill it with sand. That sand goes down in the middle of the pipe, comes the wick. And when you move to the next one, You can see this one actually has, I've left a little bit of sand showing. You've got the fill pipe going down there. You can still see a bit of the sand. The sand gets wiped smooth, 1 inch over the top. So over the top of that pipe work, you want your barrier, your non-aerobic, or what you would call a barrier that won't transfer disease or anything like that, your wicking barrier, 1 inch. So if you're using sand or you're using cane sugar mulch, whatever the hell you're using, 1 inch over the top. Then your shade cloth, which is all buckled up all over the place, it's no big deal. You just push the shit back, just push it back like that, fill it up. And I've actually put a few shovelfuls of stuff in there. So then you can fill your barrel right up to the top. Remember, don't go any more than 300 mil above that bottom fill pipe to the top of the actual material that you fill the barrel up. These barrels wind up 450 mil high, like I said. And when you're finished, you wind up with one like that. Right, little fill pipe, you know the stones are down there. You can use aluminium cans too. There's other things you can do. I use this irrigation pipe because it's really cheap. But you could use empty aluminium cans, you know, drinking cans like Coke cans, anything that just will hold water and not soak up the material. That becomes a reservoir. All right. Once you've done that, when you put your sand over the top, it becomes the wick. The wick won't harbour bacteria because the sand is inert. Whatever material you can find, you could use the garden, what do they call them, the propagating peat moss pebble, not peat moss, they're clay balls. You can use vermiculite, anything. If you've got it there, you could use anything that will absorb water, that is inert. Sand is the closest thing. A lot of guys use sand. Lots of YouTube videos on this stuff. So I mean, I'm not saying this is the only way to do it, but it's a really good way to do it. And they only seriously cost 20 bucks, right? It's no big deal. Few stones, like I said, bit of sand, horse poop and all the stuff, a barrel that you cut in half. You go through the process. It isn't a big job, alright? Anyone can do it. I'm coming back inside. How's that afternoon, for fuck's sake? No, I know. It's almost too good to be bothering to make a video, but I would do it anyway. You gotta love this Wi-Fi TV outside. I know people go, oh, that's not off grid. Guess what? That's running off our 3 kilowatt solar. Where computers running inside. 2 computers running inside, 2 fridges running. You know, I don't know how much better it gets than this, guys. We chose to do this potting, planting. Actually, we put our strawberries in today. See over there? New bed. Yes. We didn't have much luck with strawberries. We tried to grow them in the pipes last season. But no, this year we're putting them in wicking beds. We do like our fruit. So we're doing an experimental couple of beds. I've still got about 10 more of these half barrels, the split long ways half barrels to do. Those 4 that I've got over the other side I'm going to turn into these, and we'll have about 10 of those around the place. And I finally got the rails up on the back, those rails which hold the pipework that go right round the other side. So yeah, we're really trying to build an environment, you know. How's the old saying go? Build it and they will come. But yeah, the old wicking barrels, they're not hard to do. They're bloody good value, 20 bucks. Don't take a lot of effort, don't take many tools. And I mean, if you have to watch this video 3 times to just remind yourself, I'm not going to go through all the processes of how to hold the saw and all that shit. There's a million people got those videos up. But I'll just run over it very quickly. Get your barrel cut in half, drill a 25mm hole or whatever pipe you're using for your drain, drill a hole just above the 50mm mark if you're using 50mm pipe. If you're using 75mm or bigger cans, or you can put anything down there, use your imagination, alright? This is off grid. I have access to this stuff pretty easily, doesn't mean you have. So if you want to put empty aluminium cans down there, do it. Look on YouTube, there are plenty of people who've got some pretty progressive ideas and this sort of thing. You just need to create that reservoir at the bottom. The matting, well, I use shade cloth. You can buy a roll at the plumbing supplies or your local hardware of weed suppressor, the matting. That works fine too. Up to you. You just need to put a barrier in that winds up like this, that holds the sand, allows the sand to permeate, like to do the wicking through the mat. So it needs to actually transfer water but not material. So the finer the material you put in there, shade cloth probably isn't the best, and I actually did use an excess roll of drain weed matting that I had on the first few, but this is 90% shade cloth, so it's pretty non-porous except for water. Alright, so that's the plan. Get your barrel cut in half, drill a couple of holes, grab a few loose materials, and you two will wind up with a million of these bloody things. We get our barrels for 20 bucks. They vary in price, alright? We've seen them around for 25 bucks. So depends on where you are, I suppose, how often they're available. You can do this in a bathtub. You can do this in a concrete pot, whatever you've got. A lot of people have got all sorts of. I know guys that have done this in old washing machine barrels. Seriously, I mean, there are lots of people do this stuff in very non-orthodox containers. We do Dutch buckets in 10-litre containers. You can do all manner of things. I like these 200-litre barrels because they make a really chunky 100-litre bed. So they're real good. Oh, John Lennon. I should shut the fuck up, really, shouldn't I? Listen to that. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. Fucking world will be as one. Yeah, fuck that. You gotta love that. You gotta love that. Your plants will love it too. But anyway, that's about it from Steve and Kerry from offthegridnoz.com. Gonna leave it at that. It's about distilled water o'clock. But yeah. Alright, so that's it. That's wicking beds as we do them. Like I say with everybody, you can watch my videos, you can watch, our information, double check it, look on YouTube. There are other people out there doing this stuff. I get our information off YouTube, and I take the best of the advice that I deem to be, acceptable or sensible and available. It's up to you. But I hope this helps a few people out. And I hope you've had a bloody marvellous day, because by fuck, look at that. Come on. I'm going to do it again. Look at that. Unbelievable. I'd like to keep this rolling forever. You got to do this, guys. You've just got to fucking do it, There ain't no two ways about it. All the people you run into, all the problems you run into, at the end of the day, they make this what I'm looking at now, calls it all out as total bullshit. Alright, you gotta move on. You gotta keep doing what you want to do. Implement your own plan. Get your own garden going. Do your own wicking beds. I'm an absolute advocate for this Wi-Fi TV stuff. That TV up there, and I know I'm digressing, but never mind. What do you want on a gardening video except something about Wi-Fi, internet, off-grid? We haven't got a generator running. That's actually a Kogan TV. Costs about, I think I got it on special for 350 bucks, 42-inch Wi-Fi. Runs off our satellite, or our wireless internet that we've got at the moment. Used to run on satellite. Amazing. You can stand out in your garden. You can build your wicking beds. You can tend your plants, harvest your plants, build yourself an outdoor kitchen. The more time you spend outside, the more you appreciate everything that you're doing. You appreciate the nature, and I don't want to sound like a sad sack, because remember, I'm fucking tough. Yeah, I'm fucking tough. Yeah. How's it go? I can slash your throat or cuddle you to death. You'll get both off me. But yeah, this stuff you can't beat it. This is what it's all about. Build your little environment. When you build your environment, don't, you know, some people go, oh, I want this and I want that. And I think what me and Kerry focused on with this outdoor kitchen was we spend most of our time outside. So that's why we wrapped the entire kitchen in a massive amount of gardens. And gardens that are ergonomic, gardens that are low maintenance so we can go away. It took a bit of extra effort, and yeah, it took a bit of extra cash, but remember, you don't have to sell your kids, you can rent them to the neighbours who haven't got them. Seriously. Neighbours might want to take your kids for 25 bucks for a weekend to do a practice trial. Do whatever it takes to build your own environment. Alright, don't sell the fucking kids, alright. Anyway, it's cheers from Steve and Kerry from offthegridnoz.com. Subscribe and like if you want, you know the drill. We're all over the place, you know. We try to help. We can only help so many people.